Howdy Tamers, and welcome to the LostinTranslationmon Digimon podcast. This time we're covering Digimon BeatBreak episode 17, Antipathy. I think that's how we agreed we would pronounce that, so I'm going with that.
That is how the English language works, yes.
Yes, I think we agreed on the pronunciation of the English language, and we are the... I don't even know where I'm going with that train of thought, but anyway, I am Kabias, and as you can probably tell, I'm once again joined by Guz. Guz, hello.
Spoiler alert, it's me again.
Yeah,
hello.
Spoiler alert. You can either tell by the fact that Guz is on the screen right now, or the fact that you can hear Guz's voice, depending if you are videoing, watching, or podcast listening. But in any case, Quick housekeeping / update. So I was interviewed by Ride My Avatar a few days ago, and he crowned me as the world's best Safagamon player. So check out that interview. I will link it in the description unless you've already watched it. But go give it a like and a comment and give it a bit of a watch. But that's basically my housekeeping. I am very, very exhausted because it was Mars's first dog shows this weekend, which I thought that it wouldn't be as exhausting with a baby puppy. I don't know why I thought that. I was immensely wrong. It is very hard it's very exhausting with a baby puppy because they are baby puppies and they're not known to.
Yes.
Yeah. Mars was just like so excited about everything. She was running around. I'm like, Mars, please. At least I don't expect much from the baby puppy. But in any case, so quick synopsis of this week's episode. So Makoto saves 2 kids and Glowing Dawn end up having dinner with one of the tactics team's members, which is Hotaruko, and that was with her family as well. They learn about a food thief. We also learn that Hotaruko is earning money for her family, and they don't actually know that she's a cleaner. They just think that she's a career woman. So the food thief we learn is a Burgermon, and it steals Chiropmon, which is the clam. Of course, it's vaguely food-shaped, I guess. Makoto and Hotaruko follow Burgermon to the mirror world, and this is where Burgermon has been delivering food to Burpmon, who burps out E-Pulse, and they kind of have this symbiotic relationship. Night Chiropmon decides to job this week and struggles against Burpmon and Burgermon. Hotaruko kind of loses her temper at Makoto for just wanting to wait until the rest of his team shows up, and she makes Chiropmon escape from Burpmon's stomach and evolves to Tylermon. Night Chiropmon stops Tylermon from deleting the Mons of the week, but Tylermon does anyway. Hotaruko then gives Makoto, don't know why I wrote Hakuto, don't know who that is, but Makoto the baby Mons as repayment for the debt. So that's what happened this week. Let's move on to discussions and decisions. What were our highlights this week?
You always throw it to me.
I just feel like it's the polite thing to do. But I mean, I do have a highlight, and it is the fact that while this episode seems to be in the arc where we learn about the members of Team Tactics and why they're kind of wired to why they like that, and we learned last week that Granite had... Why is CC Cleaner again... The CC Cleaner only pops up when I'm doing this podcast. It happened last week, it hasn't happened since, and now it's happening again. I don't know why. Go away. Anyway, so...
Did an excellent.
I'm gonna uninstall it, because I don't even use it. I think I just used it, like, when my computer was having big boo-boos, and I was like, I can just run my scripts myself, but I guess I'll just see what CC Cleaner does, and it's useless. I just do it myself anyway. But in any case, so... last week we had Granite being paired up with Reina, and we learnt a bit more about Granite's backstory, and this week we're doing almost the same thing with Hotaruko, but my highlight was the fact it's not just a direct copy and paste. It's very clearly, this is the arc that we're in, where every week they'll sort of give us a little bit of crumbs in terms of the backstory and the reasoning for their personality or why they're becoming cleaners, and they'll be paired off with one of the members of Glowing Dawn, just so we can sort of see the parallels between the two. I'm glad that they went for a different approach than we had last week. While Granite and Reina seemed very similar, they kind of have that sort of scrappy personality, and we have Reina being more of a caretaker. than she has been previously. So it was a nice episode to see both of them shine and have their personalities kind of sort of be similar, but also different in their own ways. This week, we, instead of having two characters almost bond, they start to bond, as in Hotaruko and Makoto, but later on the episode, like, she just loses her temper at him because they are very different. Hotaruko's not reliant on her team members to go save her. Even though Chiropmon is inside of BeatBreak's stomach, she kind of does a, fine, I'll do it myself, I'll rescue myself, whatever. And she says that she despises Makoto. She does still give the baby Digimon as like a repayment for him helping her, but since they're no longer the Digimon that they were, Glowing Dawn can't collect the bounty from that. So it's kind of like a different ending, where last week ended with sort of like maybe they can be friends sort of thing. This one ended differently. So I'm glad, again, it's not just a direct copy and paste for what we saw last week, but with different characters. So I guess that's my main one, because while it is formulaic, sort of like, we need to learn about the backstory and we need to pair off these two, it had different reasoning for why they're being paired off. So I just appreciate that.
I thought it was interesting that Sayako chick lost her mind brain when Makoto was like, yeah, I'm an egg citizen, baby, what up, egg squad.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, no, you're only kind because you pity us. You're only kind because you're so much better than us. Like, she 180'd him in her head based on her own prejudice.
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy. Like, the amount of mental gymnastics she needed to pull for that. Like, man, my back's already pretty stiff as it is. If I was to do something like that, I'm at least paraplegic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, and I think it's just really nice to see that niceness as a concept or as an idea is explored very differently, right? When we think of being nice, you know, the eldest daughter, because obviously the eldest son is not in the picture. He's literally in the picture.
I thought that was the dad.
Born. I don't know.
I got the impression that it was the dad, because there is no dad, and the mum is going.
He could be the older brother.
Oh, I just thought it was the dad.
It could be. Apparently, he's dead.
Yeah.
They're doing prayers and incense, which typically means deceased.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But you know, her niceness is going off, working, sending money back for her single mum in whatever capacity. You know, having to raise her other siblings, you know. And we would treat that considerably. That's pretty nice. There's a lot of self-sacrifice that goes into that, obviously. But Makoto's self-sacrifice is probably, at least in the world setting, a lot greater. Because he chose to rebel against the world government. Well done, Blonde Luffy. And run away with a bat, and then just live off the land and just genuinely help people to help people. Not about money, not about anything else other than just being like, hey, you need a hand? I got one. Let's party.
And technically he has two. He has two hands.
Well, those hands are way better than Knight Chiropmon's cheap Batarang, which keeps failing to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can't have Wolvermon jobbing every week, so now it's Knight Chiropmon, which at least is a change of pace.
Look, Wolvermon didn't even job last episode.
Yeah, I was very impressed with her.
Wolvermon was just like, all right, cool, I'll take a couple of hits, I don't mind. It's like, damn, girl, well done.
She had a great time. That was great for her.
She really did. But I think the other thing as well is, as well as exploring that niceness, there's always that sort of that darkness, that resentment. At least with Sayako chick, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce until I've heard it a handful more times, because
Hotaruko.
Yeah, it just hasn't stuck in my head.
Yeah. It's too long. It's too long for our gaijin brains.
At least mine is. I don't know any Japanese outside of like food orders. I'm just terrible. But like I think exploring that's been really fun. I like that she wasn't a damsel in distress,
Yep,
although she
too.
was stressed.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, hey, I can get out of this at any moment. I just want to see the strength of your resolve. And I think she just found Mikado so utterly lacking. So obviously she did. And everything about him so pitiable that she was just like, you know what? Clearly all that privilege didn't serve you any good because I'm better than you and I worked for this. And there's a lot, I think, that's there for them to unpack together. Because I get the feeling that this isn't just going to be a forever rivals team. Like, I know we've spoken about them sort of jumping into the fold, as it were, of Glowing Dawn large. We all thought it might be Siako Chick that might go first, or Granite, at least given last episode. It seems like he might be the first one to be like, hey, I don't think they're that bad, I don't care. But I think we're going to be getting, Monodrobro and Toma in the next one, along with a Commandramon, which is sweet.
Very excited when I saw that in the preview. I was like, oh, new human and a Commandramon? Sign me up. Commandramon's probably my favourite Agumon recolor.
Yes. I love it. When I explain to people who don't know very much about Digimon, and I'm like, this is Commandramon. They're like, what is that? It's an Agumon with a gun. And they're like, why wouldn't they just call him, like, I don't know, Gundramon? It's like, oh, you want to see Gundramon?
Yeah.
And then you show them Gundramon. And then they're just like, what the hell is even this? And you're like, bro, trust me. We have been waiting. There is so much fun.
What even is Digimon about? Just guns.
You know, friendship. Friendship and laser beams.
Good point. Friendship and laser beams. That is true.
That's true. I guess my highlight is just the clashing of ideals, especially when, the clash between the previous episode, Raina and Granite being basically orphans of a different cloth.
Yep. And also the comparison of Granite and Raina, like, their difference is one holds back and the other just doesn't and uses her finishing move immediately. And then we have Hotaruko and Makoto, where Makoto is much more of a team player. He's just like, I want to work with my team. I want to solve this with my team. He doesn't really try to solve things himself, where Hotaruko and I guess to some extent the rest of the team tactics, they are all kind of like, I can hold my own, I can manage it on my own. The rest of the team just kind of helps from time to time, but if I have to, I can do it on my own. So there's that nice contrast, and I'm assuming that Tomoro and I think his name's Raito, I think their thing is going to be something about controlling the emotions and controlling the e-pulse, and that's their sort of like, that'll be their topic to cover in their episode. I would hazard a guess.
I would hazard a guess as well. I think it'll be temperance, as a word to manage one's temper and humours. And the strength to carry on that will, and I guess we'll see. But I think one of the things that I also really liked, which I'm not sure if many people will speak about, but I liked it. It was the tides of the digital ocean being like little bit effects.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, I really appreciate that.
I really liked that. Like, I think, at least in a lot of the other sort of media where Digimon has been presented, it's just sort of been like underwater motherboards and like other weird like floating ram sticks every now and again.
The digital world weirdness,
Yeah, and it's just like been still water. I like the idea that it's like this pixelated foam. I think that's such a beautiful choice, because it does feel more like this is a digital ocean. How do you represent a digital body of water? You make the froth pixelated, not because it's sus, but because, it just sort of gives that digital texture to it, which I think is such a beautiful animation touch there. Burpmon and Bergamon are also equally ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm really glad to see Burpmon animated, because it's been around since the early 2000s. I think it's been animated before. I think it was in Colon, But other than that, it's not really been seen much. It was effectively this weird kind of somewhat of an Easter egg one on the Digimon twins, I believe. If you overfed them and hit their max weight, they would just evolve to BeatBreak.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to see that. And I like to see how it's a different sort of way that E-Pulse can work. Like, Digimon giving E-Pulse to other Digimon rather than Digimon getting them from humans. So it's BeatBreak turns the human food into E-Pulse. So I don't think we've currently seen that. We know that Digimon don't need to eat human food.
In fact, I think it was stated, at least in the first couple episodes when Toma was still exploring his place in the Glowing Dawn, that it provides no value to Digimon whatsoever.
Yeah, Gekomon just does because he likes food.
Yes. And it does represent, I think, the digivolution of Digimon within the digital and real world in this setting, right? Where we would expect actual evolution to take place, and that takes place over, millions of years. Digimon, in that they are being spontaneously born with crazy abilities and things like that, right? Popping off here, there, and everywhere. It would make sense that at least one measure of the environmental pressure of not being able to sustain itself outside of the digital world, there would be a Digimon in some form, in some capacity, that would then be able to create some type of usable e-pulse or some type of energy that can be transmitted, transferred between other digital bodies, in the same way that grass would then use chloroplasts and things of that nature to photosynthesize with ultraviolet light and then become a food source for other things. I think we're kind of being shown that this world alongside these Digimon, and I think it's been about, 10 plus years since Digimon have really been a thing in this setting, at least?
Yeah, from what we can tell about Kyo's backstory. And I guess to some extent Granite's as well, but he is younger. Like, that would have been the last, 5 or 6 years, because he's, 13, I believe.
So, this has been happening, assumedly, all over the world. We get that sort of inference from the way that the tactics is globally active using the portals through the mirror world stuff. So there's going to be a chance where something comes in with one of these wacky abilities. If it's not being a Nattimon that creates massive bombs and is a reference to Bomberman, it'll be something that can generate E-Pulse. And even Chiropmon was just hang on, what?
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because it allows us to branch out outside the frosty vampirism that definitely should be in the next Digimon Survive, and I'll be waiting for that.
Absolutely.
But man, there's these really cool ideas that they're playing with, which could just be this episode centric and still really, really, really freaking cool. But they could also branch out in so many other very interesting ways in other Digimon media, and I like it. I like it. It's nice.
Yeah.
But we did also have the near-death E-Pulse sharing with Pandamon and Gekomon.
And the overload of the Black Galgamon as well.
Yes, there's been a lot of ways that they've been creatively using this, and I think if this had been an earlier Digimon season, I think they would have just gone, cool, here's the one rule, don't change it.
Yeah.
Whereas we're 17 episodes deep, and I think we have 4 or 5 outliers already.
Yep.
It's this is life force, this is life energy, it flows through all things. It just flows differently for some. And so it's okay, cool. How do you play with that? And this is how they're playing with it, and it's so freaking sweet. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. They're definitely doing a lot with it, rather than just, again, as you said, having it just be, hey, this is E-Pulse. It's kind of in the same way like the Digisoul or the DNA from Digimon Data Squad, which, of course, same writers as BeatBreak, so it kind of feels similar. Okay. But it was kind of everyone in the world has Digisoul or DNA. Some people just have, stronger amounts, and then they're able to bond with Digimon and use their Digisoul to digivolve their Digimon with their Digivice. So it's kind of similar in that way, but again, as you said, earlier seasons would just have like, hey, this is the one thing, this is the mechanic, and it doesn't really go beyond that. But
like the crests in season 1 are a great example of that, right?
Yeah.
Like they did character growth arc, gain Jingamabob, extended Digivolution animation, hey presto.
Yeah, and then they worked out they didn't actually need them the entire time
Digi-Eggs.
because the crests were in them.
Yeah. The Digi-Eggs were like a really cool halfway thing to do a little bit, and then they were like, whatever, just Digivolve now, I guess. Like, they worked really cool. We didn't really get... I think season 2 could have really explored the Digi-Egg thing, and we could have had like, hey, what if we just trade eggs, see what happens, and then we've got like a couple of wacky episodes.
That did happen in the CD drama. They accidentally...
The what?
So the CD dramas are kind of like just audio dramas, and they did one that was set in on Valentine's Day, I believe, and the cast of 02 accidentally get used the wrong D terminals, like they accidentally pick up the wrong one. So we have Hawkmon, since Yoli grabs the D terminal of Daisuke, she ends up evolving Hawkmon into Rinkmon, which is with the Digimental of Friendship. So they have done that before, so that is absolutely possible that is something that can canonically happen.
Who's Daisuke?
Sorry, Davis. Davis is Japanese name.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like... Wait, didn't Davis have that? Is that what? Wait,
sorry. That was Davis's. So, and there were a few other ones, and they all have canon evolutions with the other Digi-Eggs. Yeah. But we only saw like a few we didn't see them in that CD drama. And I believe that the WonderSwan games from memory also go more in depth about their Digimentals and how they work. I know the original card game did use all of the different armor forms for all of the 02 Digimon, and some random ones here and there too.
The PlayStation 1 game did. Yeah.
No, the WonderSwan game.
No, the PlayStation 1 card game.
The PlayStation card, But I just know of the original card game that had ones. But I really hope that the other armor forms get into the current TCG, because I love Rinkmon. That is my favorite. They better.
They will.
Rinkmon has
fan favorite.
Rinkmon hasn't appeared in anything. It was in the Korean Digimon RPG, which was the MMO before DSR, before DMO. It was just Digimon RPG, and it was in that. And other than that, it has not been in anything other than, again, the physical card game from the 90s. But it's very sad.
God. Yeah, I'm just looking at the thing now. It's it's like if you gave if Vidramon was a twink that was really into ice skating.
That is scarily accurate. It's also
He's a main support.
What?
Oh my god, he's part of the Metal Empire. Let's go.
Yeah, he is.
Everything comes back to Machine.
Yeah. But also he's Stephen Bradbury's Digimon, which is a joke that only specifically Australian millennials are probably going to get.
Yes.
He's the only Olympic sport person that I know, just because he won because everyone else fell over in the speed skating.
Twice.
Yeah, I know, because it happened he got to the Olympics because it happened, and then it happened again in the actual Olympics, so yeah. But anyway, so I like armor evolutions, yay. But absolutely agree with what you said about the E-Pulse being not just this one thing. It has absolutely these different levels to how it works, and how it works in terms of the world, how it works with humans, and how it works with the Digimon. So that's kind of cool.
This feels like a far more creative and expressive version of Digimon than what we've had in the past.
Mm.
Mind you, again, I've only seen the first 4 seasons, but
you need to watch Data Squad, because it it is so similar to BeatBreak in not in a way that BeatBreak feels like it's completely like just Data Squad again, but it has enough of the aspects that are quite similar, and the pacing is pretty similar too, and it just has a lot of things.
Honest?
Yep.
Just don't want to be a Shine Greymon player.
You don't have to.
But I know that if I watch that, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, and just do what everybody else does and just punch people in the face.
To be fair, yeah, that's kind of the Digimon Savers effect. Like that's why I have a Shine Greymon deck. Like Gilmon Bread was selling his, and I was like, ooh, I like Data Squad, and you like money, so yeah. That's actually verbatim the conversation, like, because he was like, I'm thinking of selling this, and I was like, well, you want your Gallant X Ghosts for when you do Worlds, so you want money, and I want the deck. So let's work something out.
And I don't want to be another Shine Greymon player in an ocean of Shine Greymon players.
Yeah.
Because I know so much of who I am as a person. I'll be like, yeah, Marcus, that Mother Lover's an OG. We just out here bopping the snot out of Digibabies, baby.
And he does.
Get it, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, you should also just watch it. It is best season. Oh, well, like, second best season after Atmon, but, like, it is really good.
But, any other highlights, KB?
No, that was just, that's basically it. I don't have much else. The food looked great, but unfortunately, I guess that brings me to my lowlight of it made me really hungry.
That is fair. That is valid.
Anime food, I don't know why, but it just always looks so good.
Yeah, watching Food Wars is a dangerous experience when you're in the middle of COVID, as I was when I was watching it.
Yeah.
And then I realized I couldn't go out and get any of the food.
Yeah. I can't watch Food Wars because I get too hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry right now. I'm so starving. I'm just like, I'm starved. What were your lowlights?
I think my lowlight is just that Night Chiropmon's not really doing anything.
Yeah, it is like, kind of disappointing.
Just look, Armalizamon at least did stuff. Wolvermon, for all the grief we give her, she still does stuff.
Yeah, she tries.
Right? Even if it's jobbing, she's still there. She's still in the fight. She's still punching someone in the head. Yeah. Is it the best punch in the world? No, but did it happen? Sure did. Right? Whenever I see Night Chiropmon sort of rock up, he throws in his Batarang, it either gets blocked, blown up, or he gets shot in the head.
Or it misses.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of like, cool. Alright. Mikado needs, like, a day in the gym with his Bat Boy.
Yeah, also,
y'all need to work on that.
Also, speaking of that, the fact that, like, I feel like Paralyzed Echo has kind of gotten weaker as the series has gone on. Like, it just misses. Like, he does Paralyze Echo, and Bergamon just moves just a little bit to the side. And it dodges it.
Paralyze Echo was an AoE. You know what I mean? It was an area of effect attack. And then in today's episode, it was a direct beam.
Yeah. Like, it just...
I'm like,
it's
been that the other attack?
Yeah, it's been downgraded. Like, I feel like the last few times we've seen Paralyze Echo being used, it has not done anything, or it's missed, or it just, like, for some reason not worked. It feels like now that we've all got to our adult forms, it is just not as useful. Like, it's just weird, because, again, when we first saw it, we were like, wow, that is such an overpowered attack. He's just a level 3, and he's able to basically stun his opponent just by screaming at them. And... my God. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and now it's just kind of like, oh, he used Paralyze Echo, and it did nothing for the 5th episode in a row.
I mean, it was nice to see some things resist it.
Yeah.
But, like, this thing was hitting level 4s and stunning him.
Yeah.
Or champion level Digimon. So, you know, it feels like there's as you're very clearly pointing out, there is an inconsistency here.
Yeah.
Something's not working, and I just want it to work for Chiropmon.
Yeah,
just in general.
The writers just nerfed it completely. Because again,
which is fair enough. Because if I'm being honest,
broken.
thought of that being a solution. It's like the psychic paper thing from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
For anybody who's unfamiliar, in Doctor Who, the Doctor has what's called psychic paper, and it usually takes the form of like a business card.
Yeah, or like ID or something.
Yeah, and it basically has anything on it that he needs it to have in order to gain access to like a crime scene. Like if the Doctor rocks up, he's like, "I'm Detective such and such, and this is my card," and everybody's like, "Wow, that's exactly what it says on the card." Yeah, why wouldn't I believe you?
Yeah.
Right? Like it just conjures into the other person's mind all the correct information, so they don't question it. And the sonic screwdriver is literally a Deus Ex Machina for that entire scene, entire series. It just fixes and solves problems.
Yeah.
So part of the writing in Doctor Who, the writers team got together and said psychic paper and sonic screws cannot be used to fix the problem. Right? It has to be fixed another way. And I think, at least at this point in the episodes, I think we're getting that same approach from the BeatBreak writing team, where they're just like, hey, we can't use Paralyzed Echo anymore. It had its time. We need to move on. We need to have things realistic, which I think we saw with Chiropmon.
Yeah, which is absolutely fair, because I'm fairly certain, I can't remember if we had this conversation in person or if we had it on the podcast, but I
think we had it with Gio.
Yeah, I think we had it with Gio, but I can't remember if it was on the podcast or not. But we were like, that's really cool. It's a really cool attack, but I don't want it to be constantly just used every episode and it works the same way and it's just a solution. And they fixed that. So it's not like a huge complaint that I'm just like, oh, it just doesn't work now. But it just is funny that all of a sudden it went from being something that was just a constant solution, was constantly overpowered, to, oh, it just misses, or it just doesn't work, or oh, it gets reflected. Like, I'm glad that they've kind of made it so it's not going to be a perfect solution every single time. But also at the same time, I'm just like, it just makes Chiropmon look kind of useless in this episode.
It really does. I think this is probably... what I said was one of my favorite things about Frontiers was like all the characters consistently failing. And then really having to dig deep to get through to that next stage. Yeah,
and I would agree. Like, we don't really see that much in Digimon. We don't see, like, consistent failing or consistently not being able to do the thing. So, yeah, like, it is like that.
Yeah, so one of the problems is that it goes for, at least in Frontiers, it went for ages.
Yeah, it went for too long. I got the idea. Like, it went for twice, maybe 3 times as long as it should have.
Yeah, but, like, I don't want that to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to just get them being Glowing Dawn, get their asses beat for 5 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I get the technical draw, if we're going to go that far, with the Skull Scorpiomon, right? Where it's like, no one kind of won because they couldn't sell anything.
Yep.
But they still got the baby Digimon and the kid's no longer cold-hearted or, you know, whatever. Like, cool, we'll call that one a tie. Go team. But, I don't know, like, Reina won but didn't. Mikado definitely didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe Tomoro wins, maybe he doesn't. I'm just sort of like...
Yeah, but also the other thing is Makoto is kind of used to being the support. So we've had Reina used to being, like, jumping in and being the heavy hitter. We have Makoto used to being the support, and he's used to not having to work on his own because he just kind of does the support things. He finds the Mon of the Week. He Paralyze Echoes the Mon of the Week, and then he just kind of helps fight with the Batarang. So I am sort of liking that, how we're getting that, even though the team is kind of working apart in these episodes, or at least last week's episode and this week, we kind of get to see what the individual members of Glowing Dawn usually are used to bringing to the fight, and how they work as a team, because each of them brings something else and something different. Like Tomoro brings the emotion, Kyo is the team mum, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like Reina had to be support when she's usually DPS.
Yeah.
And then Mikado had to be DPS when he's usually support.
Yeah.
So Tomoro's gonna have to, I don't know, not lose his shit for 3 seconds.
Yep.
I mean, I hope military Commandramon guy joins the team as like a baby cleaner that they're sort of just running around with, and he's like, yeah, I ran away from tactics because screw those guys, and like becomes like a little trainer guy that just like looks after home base, kind of like how Yoshi's just their driver.
Yep.
Just because I really need these mother lovers to have a win right now. Like, I need less of this convenient narrative plot ties and more of it like actually giving them something, because they've not. Glowing Dawn's not really gone through that much of a change. They've just still really existed and tried to do slightly different things. I want more.
Yeah.
We're getting so much of the Tactics 7. We're getting so much of the Naruto squad. I just...
Yeah.
Like, the starter decks are coming out soon. I need to see some ultimates, god damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe after we finish this arc, like, where we're just learning about team tactics, and maybe they have to work together to defeat a big bad, and they start to get their ultimates then. I would also like to see Granite evolve Ludomon to adult. I want to see if that's going to be the linear path that we would expect, or if it's going to be a new Digimon, or an existing Digimon that kind of fits. Like, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, just a Tyrannomon, but with a helmet.
Yeah. I like how all our guesses for evolutions have just been Tyrannomon, but the colour scheme and theming of the level 3. Like, that was our guess for Gekomon, and honestly, not that far off.
Not far.
I think I even said a pink and yellow, I'm colourblind, pink and green, squished looking Tyrannomon, and it wasn't that far off.
If you put him through one of those, like, tomato slices that they have at the back of, like, fast food places.
Yeah. No,
that's what you get.
He's the 3D printed dragons that are everywhere at every convention, every market, every, like, kiosk at a shopping centre. Like, he's just one of those. And it's almost uncanny. I saw one, I should have bought it, but I went to the market a little bit ago, and I saw one exactly in that colour scheme, and I was like, oh my gosh, my joke was right. But in any case, do we have any other lowlights?
I think I'm just kind of... I don't know, maybe I'm it's episode 17, maybe it's because it's been a bit of a weird day for me. I'll preface that, but like, this feels like a very frustrating point in the series where I want more for the characters already. I understand the introductions, and don't get me wrong, the introductions are very powerful, very emotionally heavy. While this episode was definitely not as intense as, I was in a refugee camp, ellipses, this was definitely still like a have everything, choose nothing, have nothing, just struggle for everything kind of, dynamic is just sort of like, all right, cool, I guess. It definitely brings into a lot of conversations about social class and economic equality, and just a lot of things that people aren't here to to really want to enjoy the conversation about, because it gets really heavy and heady and very boring and dry very quickly. But it's just sort of like, the next episode is going to be 2 Jagoffs and their dinosaurs, which I'm really still kind of cool about.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and it looks like while, despite this episode giving us background for Hotaruko and kind of why she's wired that way, and it gave us like interactions with her and Makoto, and we kind of learn about their differences, it still felt almost like a filler episode, despite not really being like that much of a filler episode, because we learned some things about the way that the world works, the way that the characters' minds work, but it still felt kind of fillerish. Next week's episode, we've got a new guy that seems to be hanging out with the group. We've got some Digimon. We've got Raito with his Monodramon. Like, next week's
I really hope we have some Digimon.
Pardon?
I really hope we have some Digimon.
Yeah. But so I don't really have any other thoughts other than what I've already said. Also, I'm very tired.
Yeah, no, for me, it just sort of feels like we're in the teenage years of the, sort of the growth part
Every
of this
episode, like
season.
every episode, every season has of Digimon at least has that kind of like bit where they just kind of give information, or we learn more about the characters rather than have Digimon time. So
Yeah.
we're kind of at that point in the series that is just like, we're now going to learn about how the characters interact with other characters without the rest of the characters on the screen. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of, I guess, required. But
And we're going to be getting it again when they go into their ultimates, because obviously the gym leaders, the Fantastic Furry 5, they're all ultimate level as well.
Yep.
Right? So when they hit that level, there's then going to be another raising of the stakes. There's going to be a whole other thing. It's not just Tactics 7 anymore. It's now the Fantastic Furry 5 and the government. And then there's going to be another push into Mega. And then we're actually going to see that Old Man in the Chair wasn't actually the real evil all along. There was another evil, because this is basically a JRPG team. This is what you should expect already. And then they get to push further and go into Mega. You know what I mean?
The fun thing about the BeatBreak characters coming to the TCG is that both Rox and Galaxy are going to get support.
Yep.
Because...
Yep.
What, like, oh, it's okay, a few more years of Galaxy support won't kill anyone. That's a direct quote from Bandai. Like, oh sure, we banned the Tamer, but let's give them more support.
Yeah, I'm down for Commandramon support.
Oh yeah, Digipolice.
D-Brigade, even.
Yeah.
Loving that. I didn't realize that the Liberator Tamer for Millenniumon was actually one of the good guys. So there's gonna possibly be really good cards that come out for that. We'll see.
Oh, he's kind of like a side character. He's like friends with Rutaro. They have a match and then like they become like online friends. I think that was Chitose. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently he also teaches Altea about composite Digimon by having a battle.
Yeah.
I read a wiki very briefly. They could be wrong.
You should actually read the thing, or just listen to my audiobook readings of it. What was that noise? Did you die?
That was me whispering link down below. I'm so sad my mic did not.
Yeah, it cut out. It just sounded like you're going, like, just a quick, like...
No.
Was you just, going, blowing off my attempt to, like, promote myself?
As you can tell, I'm not using my good mic right now. Surprise. And so you weren't able to hear me do a wonderful whisper of link down below for your debugger novel reading hosted by the one and only LostinTranslationmon.
Yeah, before I forget, I'm just going to grab that link just so I can put it in the... Because otherwise I know I'm going to forget. So I'll just put it here.
You have. You've forgotten the other times I've mentioned it.
No, I haven't. I've absolutely left those in. The other times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Audio.
Let's get it.
Here, there we go. I'm useful. I'm putting that in. It's just underneath the Ride My Avatar link, which I've also put in. And I'll put it in the... Where am I? There I am. There we are. Okay, so I did that thing. Anyway, so I'm going to go back to my notes now that I've done that. So, yeah, so favourite character this week?
I actually don't have one.
I picked Bergamon just because I like Bergamon. He's probably... He's from, like, what I would say is probably the best episode of Digimon Frontier, where they just cook burgers and Petaldramon's there.
I don't even remember that. I must have repressed it.
Oh, it was just filler. It's just, like, absolute filler. But Bergamon's there, so it's a positive. But yeah, so my favourite character is Bergamon. Are you just going to say literally no one? Or, like, maybe just pick a food item?
Look, I'm sorry, but, like, none of the characters were actually that interesting to me. Like, the funny answer is, like, Sayako Chick's mum.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
I was literally about, like... It was either her or Bergamon, so I'll just say Hotaruko's mum for you. Because, like, I was gonna, like, not even as a joke, I was gonna pick her because she was great. I like her.
MILF energy.
Oh my gosh.
Little different. Like, that's the joke answer, right? Like,
yeah.
In reality, I didn't really like any of the characters in this episode. Maybe that's a little too against the grain for the whole format here, but, you know, I just... Ugh. Like, Bergamon was one and done. Burpmon was exactly what you would expect. Mikado and Chiropmon were both, or Chiropmon, whatever the fuck it is, were both
useless.
tits on a ball, useless.
Yeah.
And angry Sayako chick got angry because entitled rich white man didn't actually do the thing that she expected of him.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what's going on in there. And then there's a couple of kids that were playing with Digimon, and they were just being children about stuff. And,
actually,
you know,
I did
Tomoro,
Yeah. I did like Syakomon though. I like how like she came out of the Burpmon's stomach and apologized. She's like, that was very embarrassing of me. That was cute.
Yeah, if you're a people pleaser, which is obviously something that Syakomon's got to wrestle with as an extension of Sayako chick.
I mean, my immediate response when seeing that was like, same.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
I apologized for being an inconvenience, even when it was completely out of my control. I'm sorry for being kidnapped. That was kind of embarrassing, but got eaten by a Burpmon. Just the day in the life. But in any case, what is your rating out of 5?
Look, I still really liked a lot of the animation. I still really like some of the home stuff in it. Like, this is definitely not my favorite episode by far.
No.
It's definitely, this is feeling like, and I have to say it's strictly because we're watching this with a week break.
Yeah.
If we were binging this, it would be higher. But this is starting to trend below the 3 mark for me.
Oof.
Starting.
Yeah.
Right, like, I'm still going to give it a 3 because I love the mental image of pixelated surf on the digital currents, the digital ocean, right? Like, all of that, like, it's beautiful, it's poetic, it's wonderful. I could cry artsy-fartsy tears of a dramatic poet's soul, you know what I mean? Like, I love it. That's not enough to carry an episode, and I do feel that if the next one tends to trend this way, I might have to go sub 3.
You've given a few that are under 3. You gave the part 2 of the Pandemon episode. You gave a 2.6. The episode where Team Tactics were kind of introduced, you gave a 2.9. So you've gone below 3 before.
Oh well, watch me do it again next episode. If I again binging, I think this would be much better.
Yeah.
But episodic, weekly, it feels like we're stuck in the Whole Cake Island arc, and Luffy's just fighting General Cracker and eating biscuits with soda for like 20 episodes for no goddamn reason. It feels like we're there. Nothing is happening. People are screaming. Colors are happening.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you ready to move on to Pondering Postmon pattern predictions?
What was your ranking?
Oh, I didn't give one, did I? 3.6. I got distracted. I forgot that I exist as a person. It's okay. That happens from time to time.
You were eaten by Burpmon.
I was eaten by Burpmon. I apologize. That was embarrassing. I shan't let that happen again. I gave it a 3.6. It was like, I liked the episode. It was kind of like, I'd say it was an okay episode overall, but I didn't really have that many lowlights. Honestly, I just liked that it was the contrast between Makoto and Hotaruko and how they kind of work together in their own teams, and how Makoto's just support usually. Like, that's what he does every episode. He analyzes the situation. He works out where the Mon of the Week is. He tracks them down. He does a lot of just the supporting aspect. He doesn't actually do the fight. He shows up and he's like, okay, now I wait. Now I wait for my team to show up. So I did like that contrast between the two. I liked seeing Makoto in a different light. I like the contrast between him and Hotaruko. Yeah, so it's a 3.6. Like, as you said, it would be better watching it not week to week, like just binge watching like 5 episodes at a time. Like, it's a lot less, like, you're not just waiting for the next episode and then you're like, well, now that's done and I have to wait another week. So yeah, I completely understand what you mean. but it was still a fine episode. Like, it was okay. I enjoyed watching it, and the animation was great, but man, am I hungry now. So, now we can actually move on to Pondering Postmon pattern predictions, now that I have given my ranking, because I remembered that I exist.
Wow.
So, first up, we have Maurice Art, who says they really enjoyed the last week's episode. They weren't expecting it to be this dark, but man, it cuts deep. They also knows that next week's episode, so this week's, will focus on Makoto and the female member of Team 7. They also do not remember her name, and honestly, I don't think we actually had her name until this week, if I'm being completely honest. Because I was like, who is Hotaruko? And then the show kind of was like, that's Hotaruko, and I was like, okay, fair enough. So Maurice Art continues to say that they're wondering if all of Team 7 and the main cast are going to get episodes to flesh out their characters. If so, that's some good writing. And yeah, I'm guessing at this point that that's pretty much going to happen. We're going to just pair them off, see how different they are, but also how similar they are, and kind of use that to learn about the characters, which I guess we're getting in now. Next, we have Nexus VFD, who says the impulse inconsistency that we mentioned is probably due to Tomoro channeling his E-Pulse into Mimicmon, as opposed to Red Vegemon, who was draining him after he'd already given him some of the E-Pulse to the babies. You can basically assume that there wasn't enough of the dosage present to overload Red Vegemon, and yeah, I guess that's the difference between passive and, like, active in terms of giving the E-Pulse, so yeah. I guess that makes sense.
I think we did touch on that briefly. I'm not sure if we touched on it enough, but I think that's where, at least in my understanding, where we sort of landed with that as well.
Next, I'm getting warm in here, but I don't feel like taking off my hoodie because then that means I have to take off my headphones. So I'm gonna power through the warmth. So, next we have Zero Unit Digital Monster, who says at the start of the episode, when Luca sees Reina, he gives a little smile. Later in the episode, when Reina appears to save the boy, he saw Stella in her. Sad boy probably never had anyone who looked after him like Reina did in this episode, since Stella. Reina already vaguely reminded him of Stella. After Reina's actions in this episode, it reminded him of Stella even more. So in conclusion, Granite is so getting adopted. And yeah, I'd like that. He seems like a precious boy. And also, I really like Ludamon.
Yeah.
Next, we have Birds of Prey, who says that they see our point, but they think, yeah, it's a good username. Every single time I read it, I'm like, yes, that is a cool username.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they see our point, but they think that most of the pivotal emotional moments weren't about these characters. A lot were about Tomoro and Gekomon, and the main characters in Digimon are always treated that way as well. The best seasons of Digimon are the only ones that can continuously have these moments for all or most of their characters. They build on each other, and the fact that we got a Reina Granite non-evolution focused episode will only make the next focus episode better. I mean, it depends how you feel about this week's episode, because that's what it was. Even if there's no evolution. And they said that our rating and review is obviously our opinion and isn't wrong at all, but it did get them thinking. And absolutely, like, if someone says that this episode, for example, is the best episode of BeatBreak, I will fully support that. And I'll be like, yes, you have that, because people are allowed to like things. I did like this episode, but just giving that as an example.
I like the episode as well, and I know I'm being a little harsh, but I'm just sort of, I'm trying to look at it in the context of everything else that's come before and what is being promised. And I just am hoping that we're going to get something, not just dramatic, not just a Digivolution, but something that's actually going to, I'm looking for a payoff. Like, we've got a lot of setups. I want some more payoff.
Yeah.
That's it.
Next, we have Dashwin, who says maybe the reason Luca's partner won't evolve is because Luca wants to die. He doesn't want to get his Digimon to get stronger, so that it can easily happen. When he discovers his reason for living, his partner Digimon will finally evolve. And yeah, I feel like that seems possible and likely. Like, once he's got that drive, Ludamon will be able to evolve, which is cool.
But, by the way, Kirby, just a quick aside, I literally did just get jump scared by my CC cleaner.
Oh my god, okay, good, it's not just me. I told you, it's not just like, it just, like last week it did jump scare me. I was like, what? My computer broken. This time I was just like, oh, here you are again. So I'm glad.
If anyone hears a phantom doo-doo on their computer or whatever, that was me.
Yeah. So I'm glad I'm not the only one being jump scared by CC Cleaner, which I guess had an update, because I swear before last week I hadn't opened it for months and months, like close to a year, and all of a sudden it just remembered that it existed on my computer, and it's going to remind me of the fact that it exists on my computer. So let's continue on before anyone else gets jump scared by CC Cleaner being updated.
Yep.
Next we have fellow top 16 for Oceania Nats this year, Digiburst. So congratulations again. They have a theory that right now that there's a secret underground rebellion group that they are trying to uncover the evils of the World Union. Maybe it'll be revealed later that Tomoro and Reina's parents were part of the rebellion group. That would be interesting.
Maybe not Reina's. Maybe not Reina's. Oh wait, no. Yeah, because like the whole family didn't want anything to do with her. I mean, yeah. Yeah,
maybe.
And we know that Tomoro's parents were kidnapped. I mean, look.
Well, I think they were arrested for doing something. So I feel like
they were kidnapped by the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Also known as being arrested.
Yeah, kidnapped by the government.
Yeah.
Bloody government.
But so I like that. I like that theory. The other theory is that the one that I have is it's either that, which is a great theory, or that they did some accidental testing and that's why Tomoro's e-pulse is like that. I don't know. But there's definitely something going on with them. Also, it could be both. Next up, Kodori says that they said they congratulate me on my Nats results, so thank you. As they now relate to the episode, it's interesting. They had a talk with their boyfriend about it and came to the conclusion of Ludamon not yet evolving is probably because of Garnett's survivor's guilt, as they haven't accepted the fact that he survived, and through Ludamon has the chance to protect others from what happened to their friend. They don't really know, but they'll see how things will go for them. And yeah, I feel like that's also a possibility. It's Granite maybe wants to die because of his survivor's guilt, and Ludamon hasn't evolved for that, so those two comments about Ludamon evolving are probably both related, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have our favourite time of the week, which is One Piece Bingo! So, the voice actor of the water gym leader, love how we're all just calling them gym leaders, because that's just what they are, is Sugar from One Piece. So the little girl that transforms people into dolls and is really annoying. But
isn't she like 50 years old or something like that? But she's like stuck in the body of a child?
Yeah, she's like a grown woman, but she's stuck in a body of the child, which is just creepy.
Classic anime.
Yeah, I don't like that. But also, the partner of Falcomon in Data Squad. So hey, that's Akuto. So I Lazy Crocodile says they don't remember the name, and I was like, nope, that's Akuto. I know my Digimon Savers characters.
Cool.
But so it's Akuto or Keenan, because I keep on forgetting the English name of Keenan.
Sorry if they haven't printed him in that name in the card game that I don't know it, except I think for like the weird Jeremy thing that they did with the Cross Wars.
Zanjiro, yeah.
Yeah. Like they printed him, I think, with the Japanese name in the English bit.
I'm pretty sure they did for the gold kid Taiki, because his name's Mikey in the dub.
Yeah, and like the chick's like
Akari, not Angie.
Yeah,
that
Angie,
is funny. That is funny that they've kept the Japanese names, because they didn't actually finish making the English dub. They did the first two parts, but they didn't do Young Hunters, which is the third part. Which is and also the second part never came to Australia in English. Like they just finished it at part one. So yeah, that's all. And when they took it to Netflix, we still only had the first part of Cross Wars in the English dub. So yeah, they don't care about the English dub of Cross Wars at all.
Nope, it's abandoned.
Yeah. So Lazy Crocodile goes on to say, onto the episode, that they feel sorry for Granite and Reina. We saw finally Reina not losing, and man, Raito is such a bitch. I hope his backstory justifies his amount of bitchiness, and yeah, probably will kind of, or at least give him a reason for it. Might not fully justify it, but at least I'm trusting that there'll be a reason other than just like, I'm a jerk because I'm a jerk. Like, I have faith that it's not going to be that, at least.
He's just going to be like, oh yeah, my dad's in the military, whatever, and he's just like some like army base brat, and
He's
then
just
sort
a jerk,
of
yeah.
jump. Yeah, like he just sort of grows up around like that sort of like I'm better than you toxic masculinity vibe, and just thinks that's the best way to be, and just has this sort of pseudo raging confidence.
Then they continue to say the episode was good. They did not expect the very heavy content of a refugee child bombardment, but it made them think of how we have heavy Digimon content in this recent age, and they're trying to push that much while still getting away with being PG. Digimon Ghost Game is basically Digimon Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And they made some things that probably would scare a child. Plus the death scenes like Gulas Galamon stabbing Sildramon in the head with a very gruesome sound effects. What?
Spoiler alert, goddamn.
It happens very early on, but yeah, it can do violent things like that, I guess.
Episode 5, Stab Wound.
To be fair, nothing as heavy as a refugee camp bombardment, but there was still some heavy content last Digimon show. And yeah, I feel like that's something that Digimon has tried to do, where it tries to go for still a young audience as children, but still also appealing to the older demographic as well, because I feel like they're very aware that a lot of the Digimon fans are just sad millennials.
Yeah, and I think there was also that controversial episode many moons ago with Kari and Tai, where it was like implied that they were like in a relationship.
No, it wasn't. Like, that was just a badly translated interview, as it turns out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that they were just being normal siblings. They were just defining the normal sibling, just like they love each other, but in a completely normal sibling way. Like, as far as I'm aware, it was just a complete weird translation, but it did kind of break the internet for like a few days.
Yeah, I did not know that was a bad translation.
Yeah.
That got me.
Yeah, because as far as I recall, somebody found the original and then translated it, and they were like, yeah, this is just normal. They're just talking about how we got to see the relationship between them, because relationships are things you can have with anybody. It doesn't have to be romantic or sexual in nature. So yeah, it was just a weird translation. But in any case, next up we have Ignited Quills, who again, someone else congratulated me on reaching top 16, so thank you very much for that. Speaking of this episode, one of the darkest backstories in Digimon series as a whole, yep, pretty much, and it gives a lot of insight about why Granite is the way he is, his passive suicidal thoughts mainly relating to how Stella was killed in a refugee camp even after Ludamon was born, and he thought it should have been me. They also said that they read a comment about Granite's survivor's guilt, tries to Ludamon not digivolving as that ties to his friend, and poor guy. Yep, agreed. They continue on to say Reina was the right person to help him change his insight, as she was alone and had a bad history due to her parents. She also helped Granite so many times, and beside the Mushroomon gang, Reina wins a fight without Kyo, Tomura, Makoto. Yay! They thought that Reina was a good character, and this episode reinforced her good traits here. And yeah, absolutely agree. Like, that was really nice. We have Kay Sutcliffe, who says congratulations on top 16. Thank you. They said they love this episode. They really hope they get to see more Reina and Granite positive interactions in the future. And yeah, me too. Like, I like the dynamic between the two.
Yeah.
Next we have another cool username, Gunmental Gator, who also says congratulations on top 16. Thank you very much. They said they're currently doing their own tournament run in an online Vanguard tournament, and they're getting everyone hype over their villainous performance. They took notes from Red Vegemon, so sue them. Well, good luck with that, and I hope everything goes well if it's already happened. Congratulations, I hope you had fun.
Here's the thing, man. If they get their lawyers involved, rip off your arms and beat them to death with them. Yep. That's the Red Vegemon way.
That is good legal advice. They then continue on to say, now onto the episode, Granite and Luca just became their son. That's congratulations. They only want good things for him. Please let this child smile somehow in the end when the government finally get dissolved over there. Reina did so much in this one episode, and that she indeed vastly improved Yoshino. Absolutely agree. Yoshino is Yoshi from Digimon Data Squad. Then we say, when we see the depths of her character is very Naruto-esque, and then she ended up being an awesome second in command today. And yeah, I really liked Reina in the last episode as well. I'm glad it wasn't just her jobbing again.
No, it was a good episode. I really liked it. You know, it's kind of hard to to jump from the refugee plotline to rich boy working class girl.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same level of effect.
Next, we have Digiwo, who says that it's always strange to see people they recognise from YouTube at Nats. They said that it's funny to hear that I went zen after beating their friend who was on rocks on round 1. So, yeah, that was a really nice matchup against rocks. And I was like really trying. I was like, maybe I can win this. But then like I was like, you know what? I already had one win, so I was like, I won against rocks. I took that as an achievement. They said they improved from 65th last year to 24th this year, so the goal is top 16 remains for next year. Well, best of luck and congratulations on the ranking improvement.
Well done.
And they said that getting people to sign the lanyard is a great idea and they're going to do it next year. My original plan for that was to get all of my opponents to sign it, but I didn't bring a Sharpie, so I was like, oh, that's a shame. But in any case, it is fun. Next, we have a short comment from Deshawn, who just says, the fact that we had a child die on screen, oh my god, BeatBreak. Very fair.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a second one from Birds of Prey. Did I not read out it? Oh, they just did 2 different comments. I thought it was a double post. They have a lot of thoughts about this episode. They were hoping for a great Rain episode and ended up with a good Rain episode stuck inside of an amazing Granite episode instead. Absolutely agree. They understand why these characters would be paired together, and it really works. Going from the emotional punch of seeing all of Luca and Ludamon's history to only getting Raina's backstory through voiceover and faceless silhouettes is a little disappointing. I'm assuming it's just because we will get that in more detail later on. We just sort of got a tease for her backstory, I suppose.
I mean, who knows? Maybe one of them was the masked woman. Dun, dun, dun.
True.
You know, like, they could be characters we've already been introduced to, and maybe it's to show the fact that Reina may not even remember their faces.
Yeah,
there's a handful of narrative ways that you can play around with that, or just like the sheer number of people that just didn't care, and they all just sort of blend into each other. You know, like there's a lot of different ways you can cut that one.
Yeah. They continue on to say, that being said, this was easily their favourite episode of the season. Luca is not only tragic, but also hopeful because of his friend Stella. Even with their gripes, Reina and Postmon were the best they've been and felt so experienced in survival because of being abandoned but always remaining hopeful. They then say, side note, I just realised that they think that this is Luca is the first darkest skinned main human character in the Digimon anime so far. I think Keenan and Akuto is kind of dark-skinned as well. I think he might be the same sort of skin tone as Luca. I might be wrong there. But I think that could be just his tan because he grew up in the digital world and probably they don't have sunscreen there.
Yeah, I think Keenan reads more tan, whereas Granite reads more brown.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, it can read Middle East and it can read sort of like the equatorial parts of Asia as well. So, you know, being in that darker complexion, I think they might actually be right.
Yeah, I think so too, because the only one I could think of was Keenan, but again, that's more like tan rather than being a person of colour or anyone from a different country other than Japan, because Keenan's parents, I'm pretty sure, were meant to be Japanese.
Yeah, like, that was, the comment was about the anime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, Ryutaro from Debuggers is also a POC.
Yeah.
Like,
but
pretty much everybody else.
Is Ryutaro, I thought he was just tan because he was, like, you know, a gym bro.
I don't know, he reads as spicy to me.
He's not Japanese, at least. That's all we know. But I don't think we know his country of origin or his parents' country of origin. Oh yeah, I think I can't remember actually. I can't remember his American or British. I can't remember. But
he feels very American because he's got the whole basketball coating in the clothing.
Yeah, but we don't know if he has like if he's meant to be a person of color or if he's meant to just be white that's tanned. But that is a good point. I think Granite might be the first character who's actually not just tanned and actually might be something other than Japanese or Caucasian.
Or weird Japanese Caucasian hybrid that you get from anime.
Yeah. But I know that is an interesting comment, and it's not something I really thought of, so thank you for bringing that up. That is, I think, it for our comments, I'm fairly certain. So thank you so much for all those, and thank you for your congratulations for Digimon Nationals, which was, of course, last week. So before we wrap up, the next week's episode is episode 18, The Price of Freedom. We've already kind of touched on what we want from this episode, but do we have any other predictions?
Not really a prediction as much as a reference to Team America.
That tracks.
Just because, like, there's a whole song about freedom in that, and it's a great joke. I just wonder how American the Commandermon's going to be, because he does have a firearm.
Yeah, true.
So that's funny. But I'm wondering if that freedom, right? Because, like, all these little stories have been a story and a half, right? Yep. It's been the Granite and the Reina, right? It's been the Sayako chick and Mikado.
Yeah.
Right? So it's been main story and a bit. I think because of just how unshakable both Tomoro and Raito kind of feel to us already, I feel that they're going to reach more of an impasse. And I think that might come down to more of Tomoro's immaturity rather than stupidity. And I think the half of the story may actually be that maybe this guy knows what Kyo did to get out.
Yep.
Like, maybe that's the freedom he's talking about.
Yeah, the price
maybe
of the freedom from the gym leaders.
Yeah, or maybe he's an ex-Tactics member, like I kind of suggested earlier. Like, maybe there is another angle to which this can be explored or expressed. Not sure.
I'm really worried that it's going to be like, this episode is just like, they befriend a super cool guy, and then at the end of the episode, he's just like, lol, jokes, I'm actually evil. I really hope that it's not that. And if it is, I hope it's not terrible.
They get infiltrated. Watch out, his name's Conjuro. What could that mean? Ooh.
Yeah. like I really hope I really hope it's just like not that at all.
I wouldn't imagine that Clay would stoop so low as to infiltrate the Glowing Dawn simply because he already has a team that outclasses them.
Yeah, but he could also be evil from another faction. He could be evil from the world government. He could be evil from literally someone else.
Literally the Monkey Man.
Yeah. Like, he feels like he would stoop that low. Monkey is evil.
No, he wouldn't stoop so low to do that. No, he would just supercharge a Marine Bullmon pointed in a vague direction and say, hold smash.
Yeah, basically.
And then be like, oops, did I do that?
But I mean,
yeah, shut up.
If my concern, if that episode does turn out to be like my concern, I just hope that they do it well, because I'm sure that they can, but that's my gut instinct. Is like, I really hope it's not predictable in that way. That's just like, oh, we made a friend. He seems really cool and really strong, and then, end of episode reveal. Haha, evil.
I hope that if they are going to be infiltrated by Sneaky Commander Bro, I hope that the twist doesn't come until much later down the road.
Yeah. Right?
If you're going to do it all in one episode, I'm going to call that lazy. Simply because it's too obvious, right? But if you at least let it boil down for a few episodes and, like, they're in the trenches with Glowing Dawn and they bleed a little and it's like, no, I got you. It's like, oh, you could have died. It's like, yeah, I could have, but I'm looking after you. And they're like, bam, 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 and, like, doing all that sort of stuff. Very dramatic, very, whatever, banging your chest masculinity, rah, nonsense.
Yeah.
To then turn around and be the one with the knife the entire time, that's gonna hurt a lot more.
Yeah, oh, it wasn't blood, it was tomato sauce. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like at every single step that they could have run away, they chose to stay with the team.
Yeah.
At every single point they could have run away, they chose to stay with the team. And then that's going to hurt a lot more, which I think is going to be so much cooler than just blowing the load in a single episode.
Yeah. But I don't really have much else to say. Do you wanna do an attempt to wrap this up for the week? Because I feel like we've been recording this for much longer than the other episodes.
Yeah, you got a spiel for me? You want me to read off?
Honestly, I'm surprised. No, I'm gonna wrap it up, but I was asking if you were ready to, if you had any other thoughts. But I did in a really weird way. I can absolutely understand why you thought I was just passing the ball to you.
Let me read it off. I want to thank everybody for joining us today here on the Lost in Translation Mon podcast with our wonderful host Lost in Translation Mon, aka the Kobayas, aka Kobayas Prime, one of our beloved Zafagamon players down here in the Oceania region that was able to make it to top 16 with their favourite deck. Fucking well done. Best Zafagamon player in the world, as crowned by Ride My Avatar. You can find their links to their Patreon and other jigabobs, like their coffee link down below and a donate to me link, because I still haven't got the speech, Kobe. I'm pandering for time.
Oh, you wanted me to actually send it to you. I was just like, oh, this is perfect. No, I don't mind reading it, but yeah. So I've got a link tree which has all my links, and that's linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. I've got a Patreon, as Guz very happily reminded everyone. I literally just thought, I was like, oh, this is perfect. You go off. But no, it probably helps to have all the list of Patreon supporters I'm about to think. So, thank. There we are. Words are hard. Like, again, I didn't expect this episode to be recording for this long, just because, I was like, we probably won't have much to say. Turns out we absolutely did. So, thank you to my current supporters on Patreon: Stephen Reeves, who is Wamsi for on Archive Our Own, Kadawashi, Neobu, who says you to follow Chisai on Twitter at Chisai236, Lismet, who is Lekman on Tumblr, Nicholas, Magnus, Lucas, Jasonmon05, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who's on Twitch at The Digital Hazard, Tropimon, Vmon, Tamer, Kasai, Big Bad, Beetlebog, Flavin, Bent Archer, Cappy, Cyber, and Baltic Halberd. And, of course, as Guz again mentioned, I have a PayPal. It's paypal.me/airdramon. And also a coffee, which is ko-fi.com/airdra. And again, thank you so much for listening/watching this. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much to Guz for joining me. Guz, where can we find you?
Where you can find me? You can find me on the internet underneath your bed at night. No,
in your walls. I mean, I am in your walls.
I'm in the Wi-Fi. I'm with Hatsune Miku. We know where you live. No, you can find me on Twitter at Guz_substitute, and you can find me here on YouTube, following down below, using that collaborator link to find me at Guz the Substitute, where I talk about Digimon in the TCG, a handful of other shenanigans, and God Almighty knows what's coming out of me next, because I'm not going to spoil it. You'll just have to find out later.
Very, very, very exciting. But yes, so again, thank you so much for listening/watching. If you are watching/listening to this on YouTube, please do the like, comment, subscribe thing. And of course, we'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Thank you.